Today, I'm excited to have on Karen Caig, owner of the Reiki Institute. And I am super excited for the topic that we are going to be exploring today on how to make moving, transitions, manifestation of new homes, new lifestyles a possibility. So thank you so much, Karen, for coming on. I'm excited to have you.
Thank you for inviting me. And as I said earlier, thank you for spotting such a good topic, because in the midst of the turmoil of the move, until you pointed it out, I hadn't realized how much Reiki was helping me through this move that I'm going through. So I think this will be an interesting topic for everyone, not just for moving, but transitions.
Right, exactly. And I think this is so commonplace. Like everyone has moves, everyone has lifestyle transitions, and let's talk about it. Let's figure out how can we bring in Reiki and some tools and techniques to go with the flow, to just kind of float through that process rather than getting really tied up in the stress of it all. So to begin, can you just kind of give us some framework of what brought you to this most recent move, what your kind of your history in the Reiki world is? Just kind of give us a little bit of a foundation for the conversation.
Yeah. Okay. So I've only been practicing Reiki for 10 years. I'm a licensed Reiki master teacher with the International Center for Reiki Training, and I'm a retired college English professor. So it's a bit of a jump. And I've moved a lot. And I was thinking in preparation for our conversation today, I was thinking, I guess my first big move that I remember was when we left my father, when my parents divorced when I was 4. And then we moved a lot. The longest I ever lived anywhere was 5 years. Mm-hmm. And we moved a lot. My mom was from a military family. My stepdad was in the military, and we didn't move with him all the time, but it was just a really tumultuous sort of a life. And I thought, one, the benefit of that is that you do learn to land on your feet. You can pick up, and you can, if life throws you a curveball, you can like, okay, I'll do it this way. But not without damage and stress. So when I was 54 years old, I had a stent put in my heart. I had a full hip replacement, so as Reiki practitioners, we know that when you have emotional stress, that's not dealt with, Reiki helps release all the trauma of your life and all of that. If you don't, it's going to manifest in your body. And so with this move, I know that I'm like, oh, this is stressful and shh. So what happened is I live in Northwest Arkansas, which, believe it or not, I was just reading, thought, what on earth is going on? It is the second in the nation in housing shortage. Because where I live in Arkansas is the headquarters of Walmart. And it's also beautiful. I will say this, for whatever's going on, politically, it's a beautiful state. We have mountain bike trails and, a lot of nature, waterfalls, that sort of thing. But a lot of people are moving here because it's cheaper. So the housing market has just gone through the roof. And I followed my only child to college. He just graduated from the University of Arkansas. And my landlord contacted me and said, I'm going to sell the place where you've been living for the last 5 years because it's just too good of a deal. Everything is going for like record prices.
Numbers.
Yes. And he said, and you've been really lucky that you're able to, you've been in this place. I think he only raised my rent like twice. I only pay. Okay. So people who living in New York or Boston are going to go, wow, that's like nothing. $850. It was a lot to me. Are you going like,
oh my God.
That's what I was paying. And so he's selling this little townhouse where I live for $185,000. And he said, and I'd like to give you, first right of refusal because you've been such a good tenant. And I'm like, I'm pretty attached to my only child. And I'm like, I don't know if he's going to pick up and move to Colorado, and I'm just not ready to buy. Plus at the prices, no. So I started looking, and there's no place to rent. And so when you said, how did you manifest that? I really have to say, first, I went into like panic mode, like, holy moly, what am I going to do? but only for a minute. And so those of you who are listening, if you've just started on your Reiki journey, I just want to say you get better. I mean, of course, my first response was like, what am I going to do? Luckily, I only have a cat, a lot of little leafy beings. I have lots of plants and, but nothing else I'm too, well, my crystals, nothing I'm too attached to. But I thought, what am I going to do? Where am I going to move? And so I used Reiki. If you've just started with Reiki, maybe you only have Reiki 1. Reiki 1 will make a huge difference. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a physical move from one house to another. But I, first and foremost, gave Reiki to myself to calm down, because you can't make any good decisions unless you are in that calm space. So I think that was probably the biggest difference from all the moves I made before, just to
breathe through it,
to breathe. And when you give yourself Reiki, you have that sense of groundedness and like, okay, you have forces all around you that are working, and when you're creating from a space of peace and calm, you can manifest better.
right?
I mean, I didn't even understand that
most
of my life.
I think that I want to kind of get curious about that, because I think there is so much wisdom in what we can do for our self-care to help bring us into alignment. And I think so many people are going through this type of stress right now. Like everyone's having to shift and move and change.
Look what's going on.
There's a lot going on. And, yeah, my jaw definitely dropped when you said your house prices, because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm definitely, where I live is much closer to the New York big city type prices. And so our housing prices literally have doubled in price in the last 2 years.
Wow.
Like the
It's happening everywhere.
It's happening everywhere. Everyone is seeing it. And I've had students and clients who have the same story. Like they're now selling the house. Myself personally, I think we have been renters now for forever. And every time that we feel like, okay, we found the great neighborhood, it's got everything that we need, they sell the house right underneath us, right? And then we have to move again. And like my daughter is 9 and she has moved, we've been in 4 houses with her. And it's not our fault. Like we really are trying to give her a grounded experience of growing up, like the solid foundation, and they keep selling the houses underneath us. And really honing in on like, what is it that we actually want? And doing that self-care practice has really been helpful in really setting an energetic course path before us to get into the housing that we want. So how did that look for you? How did you know what you wanted to manifest?
Well, like I said, first I had to get kind of calm, and I did go through that process. So I used the distance symbol and sent Reiki to my guides. I sent it to like my higher self, like, show me what's really important. Show me at this point in my life, what do I want? And because I thought maybe I should be looking somewhere, maybe I should buy before it gets much worse. But then I thought, no, because I'm an older woman and I'm single, and I want to just call the man. If something breaks, I just want to call the man and have the landlord fix it, So it helped me get clear about, what do I want? I want something where I can just garden in little pots, on a deck or or something, like in a townhouse. And it helped me get clear with my values, like what's important to me now. Is it really important to have? I've even thought about and put out there, how about a 1 bedroom? Do I even need a 2nd bedroom for an office? Nobody lives here except me and my cat, what's stopping me from turning my living space into an office living room? Anyway, it helped me open to possibilities. And once I let go of the rigidity, so I have, because of, I guess it's just like a tumultuous sort of a life, I have some control issues. This is what Reiki has helped me with the most, is like, letting go of like, okay, it's got to be this. And if I can't find that, that's where all the stress comes from. So give Reiki to myself. Then I sent the distance symbol to help me get clarity,
Yeah.
you know, about what it is I want.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Cause I definitely always recommend, like, you have to understand what it is that you're seeking out. To manifest, we need to know what it is. But before we even get to that stuff, we have to get clear on our values. We have to go, what's going to feel the most aligned for me? How do I want to live my life? Whether it's the location or how many bedrooms or how many bathrooms, like, we ended up recently going, okay, we have to buy, like, the housing market that are all going to be in the $1 million range unless we buy now. So we have done,
unless you come to Arkansas.
Unless I come to Arkansas.
Okay.
But with my personal situation, I'm going to lose custody of my oldest son if I moved out of state. I have to stay here. He's bound to the state for like custody arrangements, right? And I get that, and I'm fine with that, and I like where I live, and I have my community here, so that's fine. But it was this, what is it that I want? So we on my vision board, I've had a cohabitating, like a collaborative living situation on my vision board for years, where everyone has their own unit, but there's communal meals and all of these things, and the chickens and the goats and the gardens and all things.
I do too.
Right? That's what I want. And so we found it. They ended up building here in Bozeman, Montana. And we ended up locking in one of the units and having to put our down payment down and manifesting the down payment, all those things. But the more I felt into it, I'm like, I don't think I can live without a second bathroom. I can have just 2 bedrooms, even with 2 children, but I need to have a second bathroom. Like, with our family dynamics, that is going to be a must. And just that clarity of like, life could be really kind of difficult in our home space without that second bathroom. And just putting it out like, okay, universe, I have now got the clarity and my values are aligned, and I feel integrity for asking for more. Like, I need more. And then a unit opened up. Like, they were all claimed, and then this unit opened up, and I'm like, okay, thank you.
Isn't that weird? Yeah. That's so, it's because you got clear about it, and you were really how did you put that? In your integrity.
Yeah.
You feel it. So if you're listening, that you feel like this, okay. Yeah. This is what I need. This is what I want.
And this is what's going to support my family unit or myself if you're single. Like, and it's okay to ask for what you want. I think that's another big piece.
Ask for guidance, like, and what's the next right step? Show me where to look. Because my first reaction was like, oh my gosh, like, where? I mean, I found an Airbnb where I could live for 6 months in Nova Scotia. I thought, so I was like, sending Reiki, like, am I supposed to like sell everything and just take my cat in the car and just drive? Did you know you can drive to Nova Scotia? I did not know that. Like, am I supposed to stay here? Am I supposed to go somewhere else? But to get that clarity and then say, okay, this is it. And you're supposed to stay here for now. So I'm like, okay, then find me a place. And seriously, I am moving 3 minutes away from the townhouse where I am. It's $435 a month. No, it's more than, I can't math. It's $1,235 a month. Yeah. And my initial response was like, oh, really? Because it's more than what I'm paying now. But I got in through the Reiki, through meditation, like, yes, you can. It's just a couple more students a month. Okay. And just moving forward. In finding something.
How long from when you got your clarity, when you really got to like, this is what I want, this is what I want to create, this is what I'm open to letting Reiki guide me. When you got that clarity to the time that you found the unit, how long was that?
3 days.
Yes.
I got the notification on July 1st. This is July 25th. And I floundered around there a little bit, but exactly what you're talking about, I had to get clear about, because one thing about being single is that it's kind of scary because there really aren't any limitations except for what I'm putting on myself. And that's another thing I realized, like, oh, well, shoot, I could move to Canada if I needed to, if I wanted to. It's cooler, you know? But then to clear all that away and then go come back, no, it's not time yet. Stay here. This is, and so once I got clear about it, it was like 3 days. And it's there. And then I had to overcome the hurdle of, can I pay for that?
Yeah, let's talk about that, because I think that's the other piece that I think comes up so often, especially for Reiki practitioners, of going, wow, $400 more a month. Is that feasible? Or $1,000 more a month? Or should I invest in that next course? That's how much it's going to cost a month. And so how did it work for you to kind of make that jump going, yeah, sure, that's not a problem?
I just asked. So I turned so much of this, but I just mentioned I'm a control freak. My journey has been learning to let go and just surrender and let the Reiki energy and my guides and work and be in the flow. And it's a lot of listening. Instead of me trying to control everything, I'm listening a lot, getting clear, and then putting it out there. So I said, okay. I looked at my income, and what I was making. I mean, what the payments I was making. And I thought, in fact, I asked my son, who is a recent graduate, but at least he got a job. I said, because it's just the two of us. I left when I was pregnant. It's been just the two of us all his life. And I was like, dude, I was like, remember how I signed as like your guarantor for your lease? He said, yeah. I said, I may have to have you sign as my guarantor. He said, that's right. He said, I'll do it. But I didn't. But anyway, I put it out. I thought, because I didn't want to ask my son to do that, but I thought, if this is meant to be, I'm going to get approved. And I had to turn in like 2 years worth of tax returns, 2 months worth of bank statements, 2 years worth of W-2s. And as I was putting all this together, it took me an hour and a half to gather this information and upload it to this portal. I was thinking, like, would I rent to me? I don't know. I don't know. I'm a self-employed, really? Okay. So I thought, okay, Reiki, if this is the right move, I'm going to get approved. And if it's not, I will not be approved. And I'm not going to ask my son. So I put that out there, and I don't know how, but I was approved.
I think that there's something to that though. Like, and I love that, like you get to a place where it's like, if it's meant to be, it's going to happen. If it's in for my highest good, it's the universe is going to rearrange itself and make it happen. Like, and I just had the same similar experience. Like, we wanted to switch to this new unit. We needed to come up with $20,000 in 30 days, 20,000, right? And I just go, let's just say yes. And now we got 30 days to manifest. And I go, okay, universe, I need $10,000 of unexpected income to fall in my lap, like as soon as possible. And, I just put it out there and I meditated on it. And then this divine inspiration, this idea came into my mind of going, okay, well, this is how you do it. I send out an email to all of your current students who are on payment plans, and give them a discount if they pay it off in full. Okay, brilliant idea. I had never thought of it before. I send it out to all of my current students, and voila, it added up to $10,000, $686. And I was like, wrote the check for 20,000, said, handed over. And it was like, it took like 9 days. Mm-hmm. And I think so much what happens is that we have this self-doubt or this lack of faith or trust. And like the universe,
a scarcity mindset that I've struggled with. And you get in, and I thought about this. So I've been taking my cat. So this place was empty. And I said, can I pay prorated rent? I actually had enough money to do that, so that I can move slowly, because I'm not as young and strong as I used to be. And so I've been taking my cat, Sam, over. I bought him a little backpack. And there's a point to this. So I've been putting him in the backpack, and yesterday I put him in, and I put him in from the top, but there's also a way to get out from the bottom. And I thought, this is what people do. He was in the stupid backpack, and he was like pushing his head, and he was scratching and scratching. And I unzipped the top, and the top was completely open. But he was so focused on, I'm going to get out over here, dig, 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 dig. I was like, Sam is open. and I thought, this is what my guides do. I know, like they have opened the top for me, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I've got to get this done. And I'm just down here and I'm trying to push out the wrong way because I'm not open.
Yes. Right. I love that analogy that we get fixated on the solution has to come in this way.
And it doesn't. You have to be open to however the universe is going to send it to you.
Right. And I love that, because there's so much magic in that. Like when we go, what are all of the different possibilities that we can create multiple income streams, or what feels the most exciting, joyful, playful way to do this? Mm-hmm. People get so stuck, whether it's their business strategy or...
But it's hard because life is scary.
Yeah. And I think that's what we continuously have to work on, is when we kind of have to let that go and be like, well,
but that's where the Reiki comes in. So you just have to keep Reikiing yourself until you can return to so you can pull back away from that bottom corner and go, okay. Then you go, oh, it's open.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that.
And it's not just like whatever's happening to you at this moment, like, oh gosh, you got to move it. I mean, we're surrounded also by just all the change, it's just everything is in turmoil, and maybe it always is. I was thinking about when I was growing up in the late 60s and early 70s, it's like, we had Vietnam and protests, and it's never like smooth riding. There's always some kind of disaster going on.
Right. I think that's true. I think that the world has been a place that our spirits come to learn and grow from all of that different turmoil, right? Like,
and to learn to, like, it doesn't matter really what's going on. It's you are in control. You're in control of yourself. That's about all you're in control of.
Right.
Sometimes not even that, but you can, but when you pull back, and you can use your Reiki to pull back into, okay. And then you realize, oh, I'm connected to all these resources. So, and then you ask. That was the other thing. I'm so independent. I had trouble asking for help when I said, I used the distance symbol and sent Reiki to my guides, like, hey, I'm asking, what can I do? Where should I look? What's the next right step? Is this the right area? Show me, give me a sign, show me something.
Yeah. I think there's, so often we forget to ask for help because we're, especially in the US and growing up in our culture, this westernized culture, we're taught to be independent. We're taught to be self-sufficient, and don't ask for help because it's a sign of weakness. And so we don't even do it with our guides.
No, exactly. Do you know, when I was teaching, I didn't realize until maybe it was in my 40s that we're the only country in the world that puts their babies in their own bed, in their own room, away. If they're not like co-sleeping, like some Western countries, they have their own bed, but they're in the room with the parents. We're the only country that we bring our babies home and we're like, get over there and be independent.
Yeah.
Like, did you know that?
Well, I don't know if you know my background. I have 5 years of midwifery experience. And so very involved with the attachment parenting. And so we taught moms to sleep with their babies all the time.
I didn't know that.
And I think it was, a lot of that comes from like the Scandinavian viewpoint of, where the baby should be. It should be on mom, or even, like in Africa, like it would be insane to put your baby in another room.
Yes. All the other countries think we're insane for doing that. But that goes back to that sense of like, there's like a shame around asking for help and not being independent. But that's an important part of growth. Mm-hmm. Is it that you've got help all around you. And this move, I've got to tell you, people, we're not super close friends, but she saw on Facebook that I was moving, and she said, hey, because she just moved up in this area where I am. And she said, my husband has an 18-foot flatbed trailer. Would you like us to come move your furniture? I'm like,
yes, please.
I'm like, absolutely, I would, because I recognized it as I put out a call for help, and here comes the help.
Yes.
And then you graciously accept it. That's hard.
I just want to say, I want to repeat that. Like, you put it out, you ask for the thing, you put the call to action out to the universe, whether that's on Facebook or wherever, somewhere where it's beyond just this 50 dimensional, like out in the woo-woo world, when we actually ask for what we need in like a public way.
Exactly. It's going to manifest here.
It's going to manifest here. We have that
dimension.
is like such a pertinent step, is to ask for what you need. And while you're doing the Reiki, while you're doing the,
Yes.
multi-dimensional work, you have to do the work here in this 3D reality of saying, I need help, and then watch it show up. Like it's, you have to come at it from multiple angles. It can't just be one or the other.
No, and it made me cry. I mean, just this overwhelming
Gratitude.
Yeah. Like, we're going to help you. Like, really? Oh, I'm not going to cry. But yeah, because help is there all around you. Like, and then you have to ask yourself, like, well, you would help somebody, right? If somebody said, hey, you would think, yeah, I'm free that day. Yeah, I can come lift up a couple of boxes of books. Sure. You know, you would do it. So why can't you accept it from other people? And just, then it becomes like, oh, we're all part of this beautiful cosmic dance of give and take. And, it takes on a more spiritual meaning beyond just like, holy crap, what am I going to do? I got to move.
Right.
That's to me, that's the beauty of the spiritual path of Reiki, is that it's not always, like you said, woo woo, it's not always like, meditation and enlightenment and all of that. It's trying to bring that down into your real life, use it in your real struggles.
Yeah. Gosh, I feel like that right there is like the purpose. Like, we can achieve enlightenment, but what's the freaking point if we're not utilizing to bring that down into physical reality? Like, we came into this world in this human suit for reason and purpose. Like, it needs to be in balance. Like, yeah, I can get into a really awesome divine connection with source and this meditative space, but what's the freaking point if it's just like happens from this specific time only, and then you go back to your daily life? Like, right.
You've got to bring it into every moment of your life, and it's hard to remember at the beginning.
Yeah,
but it's getting easier.
It's getting
it
easier.
May just be my age, but I don't think so. It's the Reiki working, because it's healing. It's letting things fall away that are not necessary. It's healing those traumas that I experienced, that we all experience. And then as you do that, that's what the Reiki path looks like, is that you can hold more, your connection is stronger, and you start to live differently.
Yeah.
I've even my son last year, I was telling him something about trying to get through this last semester of college. And I said, don't worry about it. I said, just stop studying, go take the test and whatever. And, if you fail, you'll just take it again. And he looked at me and he said, who are you? And what have you done with my mother? And I said, I just realized it's not worth getting a stomach ache over, or losing your mind over, son. Just let it go. So I think that's the real Reiki path, is like, bring it in and like, is this really important? Send energy to it. And as someone who's really like an overachiever, I've worked really hard on my life, just trying to, like, I think, just be seen, be loved, all those things, and then you realize, I don't have to work that hard. You do the energetic work, what you were saying about your vision board, you do the energetic work, and then the physical part of it is not, you don't have to kill yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I think that,
but you have to do little steps. If that sounds too woo-woo or crazy, or like, well, that sounds good for you, Karen Caig, but I'm not sure I have enough money to make my bills this month, blah, blah, blah. But just try something. Just try something small. And then you'll see it like, okay, well, maybe I'll try this. Y'all got any of this? Try that, send Reiki to it, and it gets easier. And then life gets easier.
Yeah. I would love to know what's your go-to, like what helps you feel connected to source the fastest, or connected to Reiki the fastest. Like, what does that look like for you? Like, when things feel chaotic or disoriented, or that you go to your natural, like, I need to control this. What is the thing that helps you get grounded and centered?
I stick my feet I'll go stand in a creek. And if I can't go stand in the creek, because we have a lot of creeks around here, I will go outside and I'll take my shoes off and I just stand on the earth. And if it's really bad, I will just lie down. I remember after 9/11, My son was like 3. And I remember I got through the day, I got him home and I got him out of the car, set him toddling in the yard. And I remember I just lay down.
Mm-hmm.
That is my fastest
Yeah.
connection to what connects me, what grounds me, the ground.
Yeah.
And standing in creeks. So we have chakras in the bottoms of our feet. And a lot of times I'm pulling that earth energy up through the bottoms of my feet. And sometimes I'm giving it back. I send Reiki through, instead of sending Reiki through the chakras in my hands, I send Reiki through the chakras in my feet. And that connects me as well. And I like to stand in creeks because as I'm standing there, well, one, water is just so cleansing, and with that water, and it's cold because it's really hot here right now. But these are always spring-fed creeks. And you probably have them up there in Montana. Do you ever do that? Let's go stand in a river, stand in a creek, and let the water, I send Reiki to the water, and then I feel my Reiki energy going out, and I intend that it's nourishing any animal that drinks it, that wants it, any plants that need it, and then also anything that needs to go out, cleanse, clear, it's going out and the water's carrying it away and cleansing it with the Reiki as well. I do that a lot.
I love that. Well, and I think it goes to show that everyone has their own different way to get centered and connected and like aligned. And I love hearing what certain people have because it just shows the variety, right?
If it's wintertime, usually I'll just stand on the earth.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of a polar bear. I don't mind. I've been waiting in like the North Sea. It doesn't, it's like, ooh, that's cold. You go numb after a minute or so.
I have to take a pot of hot water and throw it on the snow and be like, can I find some grass here, please? I need to stand on the grass.
Yeah, we don't get much snow. And I was looking at moving up north because I spent about 5 days going, where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do? And I was looking at some houses, and where was that? Massachusetts, Springfield. And it said, renters are responsible for the flower beds and for shoveling snow. And I was like, what's that? I was like, you got to shovel it? It's like, no, it snows. You just stay in the house. What are y'all talking about?
Except it's most of the winter.
Anyway.
Yeah, I think it's winter here probably about 6 to 7 months out of the year. Snow on the ground. So we're very used to the snow shovels and
I love snow. Well, I guess it's hard to walk in. You'd have to shovel it out of the way, I suppose.
Well, when you have a foot, you can't drive in it, right?
Oh, I guess not.
Right. When it comes
to stay home, we don't go anywhere.
Well, and I homeschool my younger daughter. So like, she's easy. I'm like, great. We're just going to stay home and do things here. And that's fine. But it can be fun and it can be like, oh, here's that thing I have to deal with.
Yeah. Better in the heat. I still think it'd be better in the heat.
Yeah. Beautiful. Any other messages before we wrap up this call? Like anything else that you're like, this is some of the tips I'd love to share when it comes to creating.
Just to use whatever symbols you've got, because if you've trained all the way up through Karuna, you've got particular symbols, in Karuna Reiki that are specifically for manifesting. They're for clearing energy. They're for connecting to your higher self. Do all of those things. And I was reflecting and I thought, I really use the animal Reiki more than anything for this move. And I got, how the final confirmation for me of that this was the place I was going to get was there was a katydid. Do y'all have katydids?
No,
not this big green, kind of a grasshopper thing. And I'm really connected I'm kind of the bug whisperer. I love bugs. But anyway, it flew as I was standing on the deck talking with the landlord. It flew behind him and it landed on the wall. And for me, it probably didn't mean anything to anybody but me, but I had been asking the divine animal kingdom, like, give me guidance, give me signs, show me. And I was like, okay, it's this place. Who would have known? Yeah. So
beautiful. Watch for them signs.
Watch for the signs, because the animals and the bugs, they'll tell you lots of things. Like when you're looking for a place, and the animal Reiki, we really focus on using our senses, like returning to our animal state, because humans are animals and we have senses, but kind of extending that out, just feeling for like the vibes of the neighborhood, which most Reiki practitioners are pretty sensitive anyway, just be aware. But again, you have to be clear. If you're all up in your head, like, oh my gosh, how am I going to pay for this? Is this the right place? I don't know. You have to be in that calm state, but then you'll see, oh, look at all that puddle of water there. Okay. You'll notice things that you would not notice otherwise. So just stay in that clear state, because that's where all the answers are, and you're connected to those answers. So
yes,
connect. And then when you see it and you feel it, you go, oh, okay, that's it. And then stop worrying about it.
Yeah, just say yes.
That's what's coming.
Yeah, beautiful. Like, stop second guessing.
Yeah, because I've lived in my head for so many years.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful. Karen, it's been a lovely conversation. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm curious if our listeners want to reach out to you, if they're curious about what you're up to or what classes you're offering, how would they get a hold of you?
Well, probably the best would be my website, and it's reiki-institute.com. Or you can find me on social media. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram, TikTok. Those are I get YouTube. I have a YouTube channel, but
beautiful.
But I don't have that many videos on there. I have some instructional sort of videos, but not a great podcast like this. So I think I just have to be a guest on. I got that through guidance. Like, if you don't have the energy to get that done, or the technological know-how, just maybe people will invite me to be on their podcast.
And here we are.
I
love it. I love it. Yes, absolutely. I'm so glad that you came on. And we'll have all of your links in the show notes. So if you guys are listening and you're like, what was that again? Feel free to check out the show notes. And we look forward to having Karen on at some point in the future again. Thank you so much, Karen.
Thank you.